All right, welcome to Sports Music and Other Ish. I'm your co-host Vic.
I'm your co-host, Big John, aka the Black Jerry Maguire.
Today, man, we just want to chop it up about what's going on in America right now. There's a lot of crazy things going on: rioting, looting, protesting. And when I say that in three different categories for a reason, because I think right now we're trying to put everything in one category. And you have people that are out there protesting peacefully. You have people that's protesting angrily, and then you have people that's just looting. And so you have to understand that there's always going to be some bad apples in every bunch. It's just like nobody wants to say all police are bad. So you can't say that these protests are rioters. You can't just say they're rioting. You have to, it has to be broken up. Now, I've seen people post, I've seen comments saying that their voice won't be heard because they've done this, that, and the other. But man, I think it doesn't make sense if you don't put that some of them are doing this or some of them are doing this. We're just trying to put a blanket over everybody, and that's not helping the situation at all. And at the end of the day, there are people out there that's just, they're just trying to take advantage of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like they see this thing going on, probably don't even know who Mr. Floyd is, probably may not even know what truly is going on, but they've been at home for months, for weeks now. People don't lost jobs. People don't have money. So they're taking this opportunity to go out and do things to, basically help themselves versus help the cause. So we just want to just discuss what's going on. I mean, it's a lot. We two black men in America. You know what I'm saying? We two black men in America that work in the criminal justice system. So our viewpoints, we see it from both sides of the spectrum, meaning I've seen it as just a black man and I've seen it as a professional black man in the criminal justice system. John as well.
Yeah. So I guess I'm going to touch back on the what you said about the rioting, peaceful protesting, looting, all that stuff. Out there, it's like when you talk about the culture, like the hip hop culture and stuff. There's opportunities in that. They're gonna jump on something for their own personal gain. Um, Also, one perspective that I looked at too is that with all this COVID-19 and a lot of businesses taking a hit, I do feel like a lot of those people out there are destroying. Some people might be destroying their own businesses or having something to do with destroying their own businesses as well, which makes sense because of you get the insurance money and all that. But yeah, man, it's just hard, man. It's hard to see this, over and over again. Um, like you say, we both worked in the criminal justice field. Um, I do know. I just want to touch on some of the things that I've seen from the video that caught my attention. Having been through an academy as a peace officer, and the type of training that we got. Uh, Basically, man, there ain't no reason for nobody to be up around nobody's neck. Period. There's no reason for that. There's no chokeholds. There's none of that. Also, you use the amount of force to gain and maintain control of the situation. Mr. Floyd was in the car. Situation's over with. He's handcuffed in the car. It's over with. There's nothing else. There's nothing else at that point that should cause those cops to bring him out of that car and put him on the ground like that. One thing too that we was also taught is that if your partner is losing it, tap him out. Tap your partner out. If your partner don't want to be tapped out, you better damn well tell the truth about what happened. Mm-hmm. Because there's a lot of officers standing around looking and not willing to step up.
Yeah.
Just not willing to step up. And I think, before we got on, we kind of talked about, our thoughts as far as what it's going to take to make things better. And it starts inside of the police departments. You got to start holding people accountable, man. if you don't start holding these people accountable and you firing them or you letting them retire because they gave the police department a black eye, and you still letting them get their pensions, their families are taken care of. This shit will never stop. Right now, they think it's okay.
Yeah, and that things too that I've always felt like I've actually heard Dick Gregory talk about it, and he was just saying the problem is like when someone is killed and then you have a criminal trial, then you have a civil trial, and when a civil trial comes around, the family gets like, $10 million, $12 million. Well, the problem is that money is coming from taxpayers. You know what I mean? It's not coming from police pensions or police departments per se. So I think what has to be done with legislation at some point, somehow, is that when these guys are found guilty, their pensions have to be pulled. You have to pull a pension. And on two, if you get in so many misconducts, you can't be fired by a police department and then go get hired at another police department in the next town over or the next state over. It should follow you. It should be some kind of track record on these guys so they're just not joining police departments at will.
Right.
And truly, you have to go to the money. Like if you start pulling pensions and stuff like that, guys will start tapping out. Like, hey man, like nah, like that was wrong. We doing this. We getting rid of you out the gate. When you start messing with people's livelihoods, because right now their livelihoods aren't being hurt. I know when the lady officer in Dallas had got sentenced, she had get sentenced to I believe around like 7 years or something like that. Well, the problem that I was like, that's a short amount of time for taking a life. Well, then I went back and started reading some research, and what they said was they gave them a range of what previous officers had been charged for taking a life. So it was anywhere between 5 years and 12 years. And so they was just they believed that the judge chose that range to go in. But that's insane. Like you shouldn't be able to kill someone and only get that amount of range, because a regular citizen can't kill somebody and get that kind of range. Like that range may go, you might 99 life in prison, everything, but we're settling because they're officers and we're allowing them to get a short range sentence for a life. And that's
right. Yeah. And see, that's what I'm saying. So you had all those people who went down there, protested, but they had their guns and shit because they wanted to go out to eat and get, open up the businesses. But I'm threatened. If a motherfucker walk up anywhere with me with a gun, I'm threatened. Yeah. So if I got my gun on me, I'm probably gonna shoot your ass.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, now you got all these people. Now some of the protests, are peaceful, and the ones that I saw video of that were peaceful, I saw the officers coming in using unnecessary force. I saw old people pushed down. I saw a fucking dude just standing there. He got kicked over. Woman got ran over by a horse. I'm just like, well, we need to meet force when force is needed, right? You use the appropriate amount of force to gain and maintain control of the situation. I can't say that enough, because that right there saves your jobs, saves people's lives. Because obviously, if they used that with Mr. Floyd, he would have never been back out the car. Yeah. And honestly, if you go back even to the start of the tape, they handcuffed him and walked him across the street. Okay. Now, let's just say he was resisting some kind of way. Like, you still don't go overboard like that, because he's handcuffed. Even if he was resisting and you took him to the ground, let's just hypotheticals. You still use the amount of force needed to control the situation. And it's not that hard to control somebody in fucking handcuffs.
No.
It's not. Trust me. I've done it. It's not. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand why anybody would think it was okay to be sitting on somebody's neck like that. And you know what, too? I've never been on somebody and they went limp, lifeless, but you know when somebody, like, you have to know, man.
Yeah.
Like there's a point when that officer knew that, okay, this dude ain't said nothing in X amount of minutes or X amount of seconds or whatever the case may be. Oh fuck, let me try to make this right. I fucked up, but it's just crazy, man. It's you always look at it like it has to be some other motive because maybe it was just he was black. I mean, honestly, man, here's the first thing too. The alleged quote unquote crime that he was committing, or they say he was in suspicion of, it's not a violent crime. Why we got all this force?
Yeah.
Why we got all this? Huh?
It becomes the problem is because I don't think there's enough training in de-escalation of situations. There's not enough.
Oh man.
The funny thing is, it wasn't until the thing happened with Sandra Bland that they actually started coming out and passed a law, the Sandra Bland law, that now departments have to teach, de-escalation and stuff like that. Now, this is, I mean, like this should have been done years and years, 20, 30 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
You mean to tell me you can't de-escalate a situation with a person? You know how many times I've been in a situation with some people and was able to de-escalate a situation? I'm talking about crowds of people. By talking. I mean, you can de-escalate a situation if you know how to talk to someone. But if you trying to prove that you more, tougher, or you got, you that man, or, you trying to flex your authority instead of just having a conversation with somebody, then you have situations like this happen. You mean in the world you couldn't tell me that none of those cops up there couldn't have went to him and be like, hey man, like, look, like, we don't want this to get out of hand. Let's just figure out what's going on. Let's just calm down. Let's just have a conversation. Let's see what we can do. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no way in the world you can tell me that couldn't have happened. Because, and I'll be honest, I have yet to watch the video. I've tried my best not to watch these videos. The only thing that I've seen is the guy's knee, the officer's knee on Mr. Floyd's neck, which, is just basically tattooed in my brain. And then I heard, I was listening to a podcast and, actually I was listening to Stack 5. Stack 5 was on ESPN. And he said that, Big Floyd had called out for his mom. And man, that hurt me, because as a man, like, to have to call out for your mom, and she had passed away 2 years prior.
Yeah.
I'm saying, do you know how much pain, how much fear, and not necessarily fear of, the guys around you, but the fear that you can't breathe, you suffocating, that you to the point where you have to call out for your mom. Like, bro, like, that's, to me, that's the hardest thing for me to even, like, wrap my mind around, because, man, like, as a grown man, calling for his mama who he knows not there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta be, like, that's gotta be a painful, fearful situation that you're in.
No, absolutely. And the fact that, see, the thing is, I watched the video. It took me a minute to watch it, but I watched the video, and you could just see it. I mean, you can see literally the life leaving this man. The whole time, there's a one cop, the Asian cop. I don't know, because I'm just saying Asian cop because he was the one that was in the front, kind of telling people get back, But these cops are just too relaxed about it. There's no accountability amongst the unit of people that was there. Nobody went over there and told them, hey man, it maybe not be a good idea for you to have all your weight on his neck. I'm sure the dude weighed about 200 or something pounds. Easy, maybe low 200. He looked like a taller guy, gentleman. But man, it says, I feel like it's something more to that. They said him and this cop worked at the same club.
I seen that.
But it's a small club. Here's the thing too. One thing I know about security from doing concerts, you get your security together, whether it's cops, plain clothes, whoever it is, you get your security together so they know who the fuck they working with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They know who they working with that night, and if they work there multiple nights, then those two people may have built some type of rapport. If it wasn't nothing but, what's up, how you doing, anything. So you can't tell me that this cop didn't recognize who this man was.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what the end game was to it, or why he proceeded like that. But you could actually see the life leaving this man as this cop was on his neck.
And that's another thing too, is that I feel like we have to stop watching these videos. Like we have to stop. I mean, the crazy thing is that we felt like, I know me personally, I'm gonna speak for me. I felt like at one point in time, okay, now we got video cameras on our cell phone, we're catching the footage. Like things are gonna start changing. And then that didn't happen. Then we got body cams. They got body cams. You're like, okay, like things will start happening. And it didn't stop. And it continues to happen. It continues to happen. And I know a lot of people always say, well, what about happening when, black people killing black people? First thing I'm going to say is, if you're using the term black on black crime, you're a fool. You're ignorant, you're dumb, and you don't understand anything whatsoever. Because if I go to an all Asian neighborhood, I can tell you who killing Asians over there is going to be Asians. I go to all white neighborhoods, it's going to be white people killing white people. You kill around the people you're around. Crimes are committed around the people you're around. If I get mad, like Dick Gregory said, if I get mad to the point where I want to kill somebody, I'm not going to jump in my car and drive all the way across town and kill a white person. I'm going to walk out of my house and have a problem with somebody that's out there, and that's how it's going to happen. So the term black on black just needs to stop and quit being, us using that term. But the point is, in this community in Minneapolis, you had Philando Castile, who was shot in the car. Remember the guy where his daughter was in the back seat? Mm-hmm. He told the officer he had a gun in the glove box, but he had not reached for it. The female was in the driver's seat, and he was shot and killed. You have the Somali officer who shot and killed that white lady in the same community. Like these are two instances that we know of that. And then if you look on the officer that was arrested, his jacket, I think he had two or three prior shootings already where he had killed somebody. So this is a community already that's dealt with this. It ain't like this just happened. This was the one thing and it bubbled up. What it seems like and what it feels like is this community's had these situations come up more times than not, and now they got to a point where the pressure was in the pipes and it just busted. You know what I'm saying? And the truth, I truly feel like if people are concerned more about the protesting than they are about this man's death, like that's insanity to me. That's insanity that we want our property more than we are about a life. And to answer this question and get it out there, because I know people want to know. No, I don't support nothing that I wouldn't do. I'm not finna go outside and throw no chair through nobody's window. I'm adamantly against the death penalty. I don't give a damn what it is. I'm against the death penalty for the simple reason is you can't. Who are we to judge and take somebody's life? Period. You know what I mean? I'm against looting. I'm against rioting. I don't steal. I don't do any of that. Like, so I know I wouldn't be for that. But I understand how it could happen. You know what I mean? I'm not for it, but I can understand how it could happen. And like I said, I feel like many of those people out there for the right reason, and you got a small portion that's out there for the wrong reason.
Yeah, and there's always going to be people out there for the wrong reason. For me, man, like I'm similar to you, and I think that is some of it justified, yeah. But you know what? The world bringing this shit on themselves because we have so many opportunities to correct this shit. You want harsher penalties on drug dealers. You want harsher penalties on this, that, and the third. You trying to stop illegal immigrants from coming over here. Why don't you stop these fucking cops from killing black people or killing any people for that matter? Yeah. Like, and I'm never gonna sit here and just always, there's probably bad black cops, there's bad white cops, there's bad Asian cops, there's bad Mexican cops. There's just bad cops. There's bad people.
Yeah.
But the thing that we got to realize, man, and take this and stop taking this shit with a grain of salt is that when I say we, I mean minorities. You know what I'm saying? Of just minorities, period. When we get into these positions of power, to be able to make those decisions, we have to stick to our guns. Don't get in that shit and let them people change what you believe.
Yeah.
For the greater good of a dollar. Like Jay said, you can't. Like he said, you can't help the poor if you're one of them, right? So I translated it to, we can't help people in the justice system if we go in there and change our agendas when we get in there. Everybody has a fucking agenda. In the sports world, if I sit across the table from you and you sit across the table from me, we want something from each other. We're not just sitting here to be sitting here. And that goes at every type of facet in life. Like, man, for this shit to really stop, man, maybe, this shit look pretty bad out there. So maybe somebody will start paying attention, And I don't know. But at the end of the day, too, we have to, when we get these positions, man, these judge positions, these fucking electoral, all these elected officials, all this stuff, all these seats on all these different boards, and all these offices we trying to hold, and we have to stick to our shit, man.
Yeah.
Don't go in there. Don't. What you say?
We as a community got to hold people accountable. I made a post the other day on Facebook where I was talking about, when you go to church on Sundays, by the age of 10, I memorized the bring all my tithes into the storehouse. And, the point that I was trying to make was, for the simple fact, on Sunday, which is today, everybody probably heard that verse before they paid tithes, right? And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with paying tithes. You do what you do. But the point of it is that we're hearing the same thing over and over every Sunday to a certain degree. Certain scriptures you hear every Sunday that you memorize, that that you've heard since you was 5 all the way to 45 to 50, right?
Yeah.
Starts at, some church start at 10, don't end till 2:30. We got to start cutting out blocks of time and start doing community organizing within our churches. I'm going to Hillsborough, for example, because this is where I grew up and I kind of know the landscape. I knew when I was there, it was like 5 churches, right? 5 churches. If you can't tell me that if we took those 5 churches, them pastors, the leaders of those 5 churches say, we're going to get together and what we're going to do is we're going to find out what's the most important issues in our Black community, right? The houses are tore down on Sycamore. The roads are messed up. They ain't know why they're going to the park. We're going to take these 5 churches. What we're going to do is we're going to join together. We're going to have community action. And this is what we're going to demand for these politicians. So now instead of it being individuals, we one group, one block group. We one block of people, one group of people saying, this is what we want. And now you make these politicians in Hillsborough come sit down in y'all churches or wherever y'all at event centers, whatever, and make them come tell y'all what they're going to do for the Black community in order to get your vote. And if they don't do it, then don't vote for them. You can't tell me if your grandma and your mama call you, even if you don't go to church, right? You might not go to church, but if your grandma call you and say, hey, this is what we doing. I need you to go register to vote. We going to vote on this day. When I used to be in church, whenever our pastor would go out and preach and, Waxahachie, Hubwood, anywhere like that, what we would do? We would meet up an hour before it was time to leave at the church and we would caravan all the way to where he was pastoring at. So you can do the same thing now. We can meet at the church and we can caravan to go vote. You know what I mean? It don't have to be about the major election, the presidential election, because truth be told, these policies are put in place on a local election. If these sheriffs and these chiefs or these departments ain't out here holding people accountable, get rid of them. If the DA ain't filing on people or following these officers, get rid of them. But we got to have a voice on a local level. And I'm a firm believer is we're going to get there one day, but we can cut that time in half if the black churches fall in line. There's a reason why the black church was behind the civil rights movement. It's the reason why the black church was a major figure in the Underground Railroad. And it's a reason why they came up with the Johnson Amendment, which basically said you couldn't, it gave churches a 501(c) status. And basically, if you go out and you promote a political figure, they can pull that from you, which is, it's never happened. It's never happened before, but the threat is still on the table. So it wasn't about bashing churches. It's saying that we need to spend less time, we need to spend more time talking about community action, because the people in your church may be fine. You might have a daycare at your church. You might pay some light bills and stuff like that. But is that affecting the whole community? Like, we got to stop at a micro level and start thinking bigger. Like, if the whole community is hurting, it's cool to help out some people. You know what I'm saying? It's good to help out people regardless. But if you have the ability, to say, you know what, we're going to link up with 5 to 10 churches in this community. We all got one thing in common. 1, we love God, and 2, we all black, right? Predominantly black in this community. So we need to make our community better. And that's the only way it's going to happen, is if these churches get involved and get off the driver's seat. I got a text message today from a pastor up in Houston. I'm not going to say her name. I don't know if she want to say it, but she was at church, so she sent me a message. And it was basically the same thing I was saying. The pastor was in the pulpit praying, saying the same thing I was saying. He said he finna get with the Baptist churches in their community, and they finna start coming up with community action. It's community action. It's not Pentecostal, Baptist. It's community action. And until we get to that point, man, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. That's what we have to do, man. Because honestly, if you look at what's going on in these churches, man, you losing the younger crowd. These younger crowds ain't showing up at these churches. Man, you know how many young kids I done talked to, man, that they don't know about or don't talk about that stuff. They don't believe in it because, they got a cell phone. You know what I'm saying? They can get on their cell phone. You can tell them they see pictures of Jesus being white, and they go on their cell phone. They can find out they got pictures of him being black. You know what I mean? You go to some of these churches, they still got a white Jesus painted in their churches. You know what I'm saying? When we already know, historically, we know at that time and in the region that he was supposed to be alive, he couldn't have been white with blue eyes. You know what I mean? Right. Historically stuff. This is stuff that's factual you can find in history books. You know what I mean? So young kids are way more advanced than what we are. So if you want to bring these young kids in, you got to start talking in their language and understanding what they talking about. And what they out here talking about right now, today, is they want the same rights as everybody else. And they out there on these streets, they protest, because if you look at it, it's a lot of these young kids. Matter of fact, it was a protest. They had one in San Marcos the other day. And I wasn't going to go. I'm not a protester. I wouldn't go. But, I want to take Hayden out there. So what I did was I grabbed Hayden, really the whole family. We went out there. But by the time we got there, they had started marching. Foolish of me thinking that it was just a protest. I didn't know it was going to be a march. I thought it was just a protest. Because it was all young. I mean, it was a lot of the Texas State kids. It was all younger kids, black, white, brown, whatever. They were all together marching. And it's these young kids that we thought are, since some of the older people thought they ripped these kids off as, crazy, lazy, whatever. But those are going to be the ones that's way bolder than what the generations before them came. And those had to be pulled in.
Yeah, and see, it's what you're saying is basically that I agree with that, because I said a long time ago, I said, man, this generation of kids is the ones that can really change shit. Because think about this. Think about your parents. They were taught a certain thing, right? Mm-hmm. So you was taught that. So you was taught that stuff, and some of it, we started to question it, right? Our era started to question it. Man, why do we do this? Why is this like this? Why, well, it's just like that. This is how we do it. Okay, well, now that we older, we trying to we figured out why we do this. Now these kids, like you say, they got the internet, so they're gonna look on that internet, and you know what? A lot of it, there's a lot of influence from the parents too, as far as trying to influence the kids to go a certain way. But these kids not doing that. They're not doing the same things that some of the kids that we grew up with were doing, basically based on their parents.
No.
You know what I'm It's not, and I'm not saying it's completely like that, but it's enough of it that's not like that to make a difference. And really, everybody gonna have to stand together. But it definitely starts with us in our communities and holding ourselves to a different standard. You know what I mean? And not being able to be moved so easily by money,
Yeah.
or by anything monetary.
Yeah.
You know, we all want to live nice. We all want to have nice things. We all want to take nice trips. But what good is all that if the world is fucked up? You ain't gonna be able to go nowhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, look at coronavirus. They let you know right there. We want y'all in y'all house. We'll put y'all in y'all house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We'll create a situation to put y'all in. I'm not saying they created coronavirus. I'm not starting all that shit. I'm just saying the shit happened. The shit was real. I don't know if it was real or fake or whatnot. I don't know. All I know is anything that I can't. You telling me if I go to the hospital, they gonna send me back home and tell me to lock myself up and there ain't no cure. Shit don't make no sense to me. Because I'm not gonna get better at home, or the shit's gonna go away. So did I even really have it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't have coronavirus. I don't want nobody to think I got that shit. I ain't got no coronavirus. But I'm just hypothetical. You know what I'm saying? And then the other part of that is too, man, it's kind of, you know, the whole church thing, man. A lot of shit got off rail with the churches. And I'm not criticizing anybody, anyone in particular. I'm just saying overall. I don't know how churches were way back in the day, but since I'm old enough to understand the churches, it's a lot of money that goes to those churches.
It's a lot of money.
I look on TV and I see people having churches in arenas. Hey, man, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying so many private jets. And look, man, by all means, get your money, get your blessings. But we all know that it's bigger than that. And the whole thing is too big. If you getting all of that, man, let's go back in the community, man. Yeah. Let's go back into the community and lift as we climb.
Yeah.
Because me and somebody was talking about this the other day. Okay. So Asian people come over here, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm just giving you this because this is our conversation. This is how they start to own shit. They got so many families that live in the house together, right? Mm-hmm. So they're stacking up this money, and it's all a plan. So this family gets the house, everybody comes in, do whatever part they got to do. Now the next family is on deck to get a house. So once that family gets their house, then the next family gets their house, and they just kind of migrate out. And then they end up owning having half the neighborhood, or they end up having stores, whatever the case may be. And this is real, because not only this was talk with an Asian person, it was also talk with somebody that's Jewish, basically. Same shit. I can't. Black people and Hispanic people, from what I've seen, once we get to a certain level, man,
yeah, we out.
We out.
We out.
Like Day said. I said I wasn't gonna never leave the hood. Got my money and I'm out. I'm out.
You know what
I ain't never going back.
What you're talking about is group economics, right? So
right.
Think about, I have church on Sunday, I have Bible study Wednesday, I have usher board meeting Thursday, and then we got choir practice like Friday, right? How one of those days you could teach group economics. You know where I learned something at? I'm gonna tell you a crazy story, right? So God, I can't think of this dude's name. I'm looking for his book. But he's a financial guru. He talks about cleaning up your credit and stuff like that. And so what he has, this thing is called the snowball effect. So basically what you do is you pay off your smallest debt, and then Once you pay off that smallest debt, you take what you was paying towards that smallest debt and you pay off your second debt. And then you go up, go up, go up until you have no debt left. I can't think of this dude's name. But John, you know where I learned that at a white.
So what?
My wife got invited over there, and we went to a white church on like a Wednesday, and we sat in there and went through a lecture. We got paperwork, we got pamphlets, stuff like that. We took that stuff home, and bro, ended up getting debt free. Like, but we learned that in the white church. Like they was doing that on like a Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? But we don't do that, and I'm not gonna say we don't, because it may be some people out there, but I'm gonna say the majority of us don't do that. How many majority in that church, but that in that church has went and said, you know what, we're gonna bring somebody in because y'all tithing every week, and I know we got to pay for the bills and stuff like that, but we was able to save some of that money to get an investor, a financial investor, to come out here, or somebody come out here and teach us about cleaning our credit up, and they gonna come out here and do that, you know what I mean? You know, or the crazy thing is the person that was teaching the class over the finances, that person had went through it on herself. I guess the church might have sent her on her own to learn it. Learned it. She came back and then taught the class. You know what I mean? So now you got a whole church that's debt free. You know what you can in your community when everybody in there debt free? You know what I mean? You have true economic power. Like, and that's the only thing this country understands is economics. That's the only thing it understands is economics and violence. And the sad part about it is that I don't advocate for violence, but look at the history of anything that's ever changed, a major change in history, violence was a part of it. And let me
absolutely.
People are opposed to themselves when they saying these riots didn't do anything. When did they fire the officer, and then when did they arrest the officer? It was after the stuff had happened. If they had arrested him, if they had not arrested him and there was no riots or no protesting, would we be talking about this 4 days later? You know what I'm saying? Would the chief of the chief of the police department in Houston, Texas, who, man, I tip my hat to him because he was out there walking with the protesters the other day. He was the old chief out of Austin. But he was out there walking with the protesters. Would he be out there walking with the protesters and stuff like that? Like, man, sometimes things have to happen to catch the eye of America. And now the eye of America has been caught. We got to figure out what to do with it. And the true thing we have to do with it is what I believe is, one, we have to change legislation. The only way we change legislation is if we get together. And I'm talking about legislation on a local level. Find what's wrong in our communities. Everybody's community not going to be the same. Like right now, my community right now, I'm in a predominantly white community. My street's good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't too much really happening. I done got pulled over 5 times since, you know what I'm saying? I have a CHL. I don't know if that's, I don't get no grief when I pull my CHL and show them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have the same problems like they might have in Minneapolis, or they might have in Hillsborough, or they might have, you know what I'm saying? Like, our communities, we have to get to a point in these communities, everybody's community is going to be different, right? Mm-hmm. So we have to get to a point where we figuring out what we need in our community. And I'm willing, whatever expertise or whatever I know, I'm willing. All y'all got to do is call me, and I'll be out there. Tell me where we meeting, what we need to do. I put down everything I love. I'm out there. And I'm on the front line helping out if it's a solution to something, to help build something. I don't have a problem with that. I'm here. Like I'm able to put myself in a situation where I've learned some things. I ain't an expert. I done learned some stuff. I can help organize some stuff. I can help put us in a situation where maybe we can make some things happen. So I'm willing to help out. You know what I mean? But like, we have to organize to a point where we can vote on a local election on a block level. We got a group of people where they come out and say, you know what, man, if we don't go fix those roads, man, on the black side of town, we're not gonna get elected. So we got to make sure that happens. You know what I mean? That's what everybody else do. Everybody else got lobbyists. You know what I'm saying? If people want something, they got lobbyists, they go lobby. And they tell them, hey, man, if y'all don't do this for us, we're not gonna vote for y'all. We're gonna vote for somebody else. And we got to get the mentality of Democrat and Republican out of our head, man. Like, we got to go who's going to help the black community? Who's going to help the black community? And sometimes I think we feel like the Democratic Party is the one that always does it, and sometimes it does feel like they like that. But at the same time, man, some of them ain't, it ain't really like that. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's different. Republicans, at the same time, they may, they may help, they may not help out. You know what I mean? Like, but we got to find a candidate, no matter what party they are, that's gonna do for our community. And
Right.
thing gonna do for our community, we gotta move around. If we got people in our churches that's leading our churches, or leading our community centers, or leading our community, and they not for the people, and it's just about money and finances, man, we got to move them around. That's the only way we're gonna be able to move in the right direction. Not to saying, and I don't want to feel like we're saying like all of our problems is on us, because I mean, a lot of our problems, and I mean, we can talk history and we can go back to whatever. I mean, that's a conversation I love to have, but we just talking about the immediate action that we need to have right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, ain't nobody gonna care for us like us.
Right.
Us like us.
And the thing about it is too, man, I think you hit the nail on the head. We got to get that mentality that we do have some power in this situation. We have a say so.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether we go out there and we voice our opinions, and we using our quote unquote our black privilege, because the black dollar is powerful, man.
Yeah,
it's powerful if we can all come together. And see what you said about everybody coming together for the solution. We gotta stop. We gotta feel like when we come together for that solution, we can't have no personal agendas.
nah.
It ain't no person. It can't be no person. If it's a personal agenda, that shit gonna be sniffed out quick. Yeah. And then it's gonna be back to, okay, it's me versus y'all. I'm gonna get what I need to get, and I'm gonna get out of here. No, it can't be like that. We gotta be in it for the long haul, and I'm with whatever we need to do that we need to do to help that situation, because I've learned some things too. And like you say, nobody taught us about finances. Nobody taught us about stocks, mutual funds, day trading, currency trading. None of that. I'm getting a lot of that shit now.
Yeah.
But you know what? My son, he gonna have all that.
Yeah.
He gonna have all that. There ain't gonna be nothing he ain't gonna know about that type of stuff. And another thing too, it's good to be debt free, but we also gotta learn how to build wealth. Mm-hmm. Because you can be debt free, but you don't understand how to build wealth, and you're gonna be right back in debt. Mm-hmm. Like that's one of the things, and I can't think of the lady's name. She's on Instagram, and that's one of her biggest things is, I think she's out of DC or something. She's like a financial guru or something, but she was talking about how our main focus is always get out of debt, get out of debt, get out of debt. She said it's good to get out of debt, but you got to be able to build wealth too. So we might have to learn how to do that shit simultaneously, right? Yeah. Or get out of enough debt, put some shit on hold, and now you start building. And because them student loans, them motherfuckers be on hold forever. You know what I'm saying? So now you need to go in there. You go in there and start building your wealth, because she was saying that basically she was like, I got the X amount of money. I could pay a big chunk on my student loans, and it'll cut my monthly payment down. Or I can take this 25, I think it was 25, 30,000 bucks. I can take this 25,000, 35,000 bucks and put it back into my business. And then she put the money back into her business, put her student loans in deferment, and then a year and a half or 2 years later, she wrote a check for the full amount of her student loans, which was 6 figures. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, man, like we got to learn how to do that. And we also got to learn to be patient in the process. Because I think a lot of times we influenced by a lot of other shit other than what we really need, other than what we really are facing, right? Like I said in the beginning, everybody want to drive a nice car. I don't give a shit what kind of car I got at this point.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, I got a car, and I'm probably not going to ever buy a brand new car again. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. So those things don't matter. And I think everybody has to get to a point where those things don't matter. They also have to understand that if you build a wealth and you are debt free, you can go get anything you want.
Yeah.
Well, anything.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go back and help other people in your community. Everybody not gonna be right for right for the season. Mm-hmm. That's up to you to figure that out. So you won't be spinning your wheels and wasting your time on certain people who not ready for that yet. Yeah. It don't mean you gotta write them off. That means that you just put them to the side and get somebody that's ready for those things right now. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you know, I mean, it starts in our communities. It starts with our knowledge about building wealth, financial freedom, debt free, all that stuff, man.
We gotta hold and we just gotta continue to hold fast and hold people accountable, man. Like, I like to look at the bright side of things. I think sometimes, like, especially on the internet, you get people saying, "Oh, you think you woke," talking to other people, you know, and they'll be going at people that might talk about something that's going on, or they might say something that may be conspiratorial, and you have people go at them. Like, man, if you just look at stuff 10 years ago, man, we wasn't talking about stuff like this. Like, people engage like this. Like, man, we making progress. It might be slow, but we making progress as far as our information that we learning, things that we learning, moving forward. Now, the only thing we not making progress is the justice that we receive. You know, but I feel like in every other part of our lives, collectively, like we making progress, but we're not making progress in the justice that we receive. You may see, the crazy thing is if a black guy kills another black guy, I know that guy's going to jail. I know he's going to prison. But if an officer kills a black guy, my first thought is he's going to get off. He's going to get off. Yeah. He's not, they're not going to hold him accountable. You know, and is whatever reason it is where they think we less than or whatever. You know what I mean? But that can't continue to happen. It's not going to continue to happen. Our worst is going to happen. You got to listen and see. And like, my thing is too, man, if I'm a firm believer that there's more percentage of black people that have white friends than there are white people that have black friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a friend that we probably text back 4 times a week, a white guy, right? But I know some white people that ain't never had a black friend. They ain't gonna talk to black people. The only black people they see is me and the people that come in on a daily where they work at.
Right.
So you can't even relate to what we go through or what's going on in our life, but yeah, you quick to jump out and say, you know, jump on your text, your Facebook pages and your Instagrams and say all this stuff. And another thing too is, man, just because you guys and people out there and you in a relationship with someone of the opposite sex, I mean, not opposite sex, someone of an opposite race. So if you a black guy dating a white girl, or a white girl, a black girl dating a white guy, don't mean they gonna feel what you're going through right now. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely.
Not gonna feel what you're going through. So I see people saying, well, you know, all you guys that interracial dating, these people ain't saying nothing. Like, they might not feel, they don't feel what you're going through. Like, man, you can't be, if you're not black, you don't understand it and you don't feel it. You can sympathize with it, but you cannot understand it and feel it. If I grew up and all I had as a pet was a pit bull, and all you seen was pit bulls on TV eating and killing people, you're gonna think pit bulls are bad and you're gonna be terrified of them. Right. I can't make you understand how great of a dogs these are. Not to compare, you know, us to dogs or nothing like that, but just to give you an analogy to see how this thing works. I didn't go on my timeline, and I don't expect no white people to call me and be like, oh man, I feel sorry. Although I've had a lot of people reach out. But I don't expect it. It don't matter to me. Honestly, to be 100%, it don't matter to me. Because I know there's a whole race of people out there that understand how I feel. And I can reach back and I can talk to them. I can talk to my wife. I can reach back, talk to you. I can talk to anybody that know how I feel. And the only way and things are gonna change is once we get this shit and we go head first into it and we let them know like we're not taking these injustices anymore. And I think that's the point where we at right now. And I think
no, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And I think that, I don't know what tomorrow gonna bring. Like I know today it was still more rioting and stuff going on. I don't know how crazy it's gonna get. I know it's a lot of people scared out there, and we don't have someone that's leading our country that can bring people together. Not that I've seen. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna go on track record. I haven't seen our president come out and just unite everybody. It's not.
Right.
And I don't think it's gonna happen. If it happened, I'll be the first one to stand up and clap, but I'll be shocked. But right now, the way this country is going, how fractured it is, and we don't have nobody to come up and bring everything together, like it's a problem. It's a problem. I don't know what's gonna happen. Nobody knows what's gonna happen in the next couple of days. I hope the violence and the looting and that stuff stop, but I hope the protesting don't stop. I hope people continue to protest. And there's another thing too. Like everybody not gonna help out in the same way, right? I'm not a protester. I've always felt that. I always kind of felt like the Malcolm X approach is the approach. I admire Dr. King, salute him, but Malcolm X was always kind of the mentality that I had. Like if you hit me, I'm hitting you back type of thing. But Martin was so smart. He was so smart. And I didn't learn this till later, is the fact that he knew if we go out there and we protest a nonviolent protest, that these cameras gonna come out and watch these cops beat us, watch these people spit on us, watch these people violate us. And that's gonna make the world put pressure on our government to make change. And I didn't realize that until later on in life, that how smart he was to make sure they caught that on camera. And now the whole world seen it. And it made the United States look bad, because you can't be out here talking about peace and stuff like that when you ain't even got it in your own country. But
no, absolutely.
if you ain't a protester, don't protest. Like, but don't talk bad about the people that's doing it. If you feel like, you need to make comments on social media, and the crazy thing is I see a lot of people my age talking about you guys are just like social media warriors. They talking to these younger cats. People don't understand, like, that's where the world is going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How do you think so many people ended up at these protests? They wasn't out there sending emails and flyers. They was on social media.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that woman who was in Central Park in New York with that dog situation, who called the police on that black guy, how do you think she got fired? Because these people was talking about it on social media. Like, this is the way of the world. Social media is the way. These are how things are happening. Nike and them Nike, I think Netflix, they all released these these ads about standing with the black community and stuff like that for justice. All that stuff came out on social media. Like, this is where it's going now. You do got to get out your house and go to a ballot box, and you do probably need to go out your house and go to some meetings with some organizations if that's what you're gonna do. But a lot of this stuff is happening on social media. You know what I'm saying? Like when they need to come up with funds and stuff like that for the protesters, that's going on social media. People sitting right at home on their social media, sending money, donate money to certain links. So don't bash these people that's on social media, and that's the way they doing their activism. Everybody's not going to be the same. I had a guy call me the other day, man, and we had a conversation, and he owned a business, and it's hard for him to go out and just say what he want to say, because like that's how he feed his family. And like I told him, man, everybody's not gonna be like that. Like, you impact people different ways. Like, if you a black coach, if you think about this, if you a black coach, right, and your parents or your family or somebody in your family may be racist, they may tell you all black people are bad. But every day you go to that coach, that black coach, and he teaching you about life. He teaching you about discipline. He's showing you love. He's showing you toughness. He helping you build yourself. Like, so when you see that man every day, when you go home, you start questioning what your parents are telling you about black people. because all they saying is negative, and all you seeing is the positive and is a person. So even on that minute level, you still helping the cause. You still helping fight and combat racism in this country. You know what I mean? Now it's gonna be that kid to decide, you know, which one he gonna believe and which one he gonna take forward. But a lot of these kids, man, they gonna see that and be like, man, like all black people ain't bad. Like I don't know what y'all talking about. You know what I'm saying? Because this guy, I wouldn't be in college playing sports. I wouldn't have got a scholarship. You know what I mean? Like, so I think people help on a different level. Like, we got to quit trying to chastise people on how they help. However you help is how you help. If you pray, you pray. Donate, you donate. If you want to crack a joke to lighten the mood, crack a joke to lighten the mood. Like the other day, man, I was so pissed off and frustrated, man, with the whole thing. And AG posted a picture of the guys who took the train in Minneapolis. I don't know if you've seen that. Have you seen that where they stole a train, the little kitty train for the mall or something, and they was riding the street? Like, it was the funniest thing ever. You know what I'm saying? And it helped lighten the mood. So, like, that's what people got to understand is, like, man, everybody's going to help in different ways. You can't expect everybody to do what you're going to do. And you can't criticize people for how they do it, man. Just be thankful that somebody's saying something and they ain't worried about Gucci, Louis, Fendi, or what game on, or what artist did what, or what the Kardashians had on. Like, no, they locked in, they engaged, and they see what's going on, and they using their voice about it. You know what I mean? We be thankful that people are in tune with what's going on right now, because people could be talking about anything. They could stop talking about this and be talking about, you know, a new song that came out or a new movie or something like that. They don't have to be engaged in what's going on right now, even though it's affecting their life, because we've seen that plenty.
Yeah, and one thing I was going to add to that is that, like you said, we all contribute in different ways. I've never been one to knock somebody's process. However you come to the table, whatever we can't all bring the same shit. We all if we all come from the same with the same shit, the same, always won't be hostility, or we always laughing. Too much laughter, too much hostility, too much of this, too much of that. We gotta let people be who they are. Mm-hmm. Don't condemn somebody because that's their process. You know what I mean? Like, for me, I'm not gonna be out. I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna be rah about it. I'm just gonna start doing shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just should just start doing. And the other part too. Earlier you touched on about you don't know why they about how, you know, maybe they see us as inferior or something like that. You know, I think that may be a part of it, but I also feel like they fear us.
No. That I'm a firm believer that that's what it is. It's they're scared and they fear us. You know, the crazy thing is, I'm gonna let you go right back to it, John. I was working with this lady. She's since retired. I was working with this lady. She had worked over in the DA's office, John. And, you know, before I didn't have a big beard. You know, I had my beard was smaller. You know what I'm saying? It was just intact. I didn't let it grow like that. And John, like, I worked with this lady for like 5 years, bro. Like, you know, I go to her office. And when I went to the office, like, we had real life conversations. You know what I'm saying? For, you know, 10, 15 minutes, you know, damn near every other day, right? Mm-hmm. Or I started growing my beard out, and one day I walked in there and she said, "Man, you look intimidating." And I was like, "What do you mean I look intimidating?" She was like, you know, when you grow your hair out, and it made me kind of scared a little bit. Like, I'm more like, if I seen you, I didn't know you, I'd be intimidated. I'm like, but like, the crazy thing, but you know me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've had conversations, but yet, because of the way I look, you know what I'm saying, you fear me. You know what I mean? Like, that was just, it just blew my mind. So it goes back to what you were saying. I'll let you finish. But, like, I think there is a sense of fear. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Why couldn't, you know, if you look at certain situations, like, I'm only gonna pull my gun out and kill somebody that I'm scared to death. Like, you know, for that I'm scared to death of. Like, I can't win. If I'm in a situation, it's a one-on-one battle. Why can't we fight that out? Why are we pulling these guns and we killing you? And 9 times out of 10, you're gonna see that it was, you know, it was fear based. So I believe it is a lot of fear. I believe it's a lot of fear in there.
And you know, well, you know, this is fear. We're competition because nowadays we're more educated. We hold different positions. You know, the only thing different between us and foreigners is that we're here, right? Foreigners come over, they start doing shit. Oh, they're taking our jobs. They're doing this. They feel the same way about us. The more education we get, the more money we get, the more whatever we do to better ourselves, there's a higher probability of us putting somebody out of work from that's not black. We start owning business. We start doing well. It's a lot that goes into that, and I think they could look at like, hey man, look, if we don't put the stop to these motherfuckers, they're gonna be running the shit. Then you got interracial relationships. We know black ain't going nowhere.
It's dominant. Black is dominant.
It's not going nowhere. So you got interracial relationships. A lot of people look at that and they like, shit, man. You know, and the crazy thing too.
When I say dominant, I'm meaning in the sense of the color and your melanin is dominant in your
right.
So if you black and you have interracial relationship with a white person and you have a baby, white is gonna be recessive, so it's not as strong. So when you cross those genes, that baby's gonna come out with black features regardless. You know? So it's gonna come. So that's what I mean when I say dominant. But go ahead, bro.
Yeah. So they see all of it and they you know, all of that's intimidating to them. On top of your build, your stature, your facial hair, whatever you got. So shit, you know, let's flip that whole beard situation over. Shit, I see a motherfucker come here looking like ZZ Top, man. You know, or the Unabomber, or any of that other shit. I feel some type of way. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not that I'm scared or anything. I just take notes. Oh, I gotta watch this motherfucker. This motherfucker might have something up on his jacket.
Yeah.
You know, because that criteria for the school shootings and all that other bullshit, it's not black people. You know what I'm saying? That look, that whole mold is not black people. And just like the whole cop situation, like I'm very cautious if I get pulled over.
Yeah.
You know, I'm very cautious when I get pulled over, man. I just told some youth the story about when me and Hobbs got pulled over on our way to that one time to watch Mike play, you know, and I described, you know, I try to teach them about perception, right? Don't let somebody's perception of you be your reality. You know what I'm saying? I had the do-rag on, the wife beater. You know what I'm saying? I was big. I was way bigger than I am now. So I looked aggressive. We was banging zero when the cop pulled up. You know, all that shit. You know, he got me out the car. Didn't even tell me why he was. Didn't even ask for license insurance. Just, hey man, come on out, man. Can you open this trunk up? Yeah, sure. So he started talking about my speaker box. So then I started hitting him with that. I started articulating myself, and I think he kind of looked at me like, "Cause this dude might be all right. He just, you know what I'm saying? He just got this on. Like I don't know why he would be wearing this." But then next thing I know, I'm standing in the ditch. Hobbs at the car. They talking to him. You know, he looked like Paul Wall and shit. So this ain't really no good combination. You got a fat ass black dude with a do rag and a wife beater. You got this white boy who looked like Paul Wall. Hell, I don't even know if Hobbs had a grill then or not. I don't even remember. But we going down the cocaine pipeline, which is I-10. We going doing a down and back trip. Oh, we got drugs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We got drugs. But at the end of the day, man, we didn't get no ticket. I think I might have got a ticket. I don't remember, but, you know, we made our situation. But, you know, that moment right there, man, could have been very, very different.
Yeah.
Could have been very, very different. If I was, you know, I always say, man, like, I always do the whole thing, I'm a little bit of Malcolm and I'm a little bit of Martin. You know what I'm saying? Because I think you got to have a little bit of both.
Balance.
You got to have a balance. You can't be a total pushover. You got to know when to be aggressive, know when not to be aggressive, know when to articulate yourself in a certain manner, and you got to know when not to. And it sucks that you even got to pay that close attention to the shit, but that's just how the world works. And that's in any setting. Because I could have been demonstrative. I could have been angry because I got pulled over, showed some type of frustration, or just been frustrated. And the cop could have took that as, it was a state trooper. He could have took that as like, oh, this motherfucker getting out of pocket. Let me draw my iron. Let me draw my weapon.
Yeah.
You know, but I didn't. And I think a lot of times we're not taught that. All we know is fight, 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 fight. Because that's what we've had to do our entire life. We fight for everything we get. We fight for the shit that people try to take from us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So what I try to do when I speak to the youth and whatnot, I try to tell them, and it's mostly Hispanic and Black youth that I'm speaking to that's incarcerated. You know what I'm saying? So I try to tell them, you have to know when to turn that shit on and when to turn it off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you can't get out the car and go talk to somebody and you keep saying, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, no, you feel me, you can't say that shit. You know, it's just and it's sad that we have to do that, because I'm sure that other races don't have to pay that much attention to how they articulate themselves. I remember one time somebody told me, "Man, you're so well spoken." The fuck does that mean?
Dog, that's
like don't ever say that shit to me, man.
dog,
Like education like you got.
And that's another thing too, bro. I went and spoke at I can't. It was like a country. It wasn't a country club, but it was some kind of political club.
Yeah.
Speak about drug court, and a lady walked up to me afterwards. She was like, "Man, you speak so well, and you articulate things." And I just looked at her. I just smiled. I just laughed. I was like, "That's just something you don't say to Black people." And I walked off. Like,
yeah.
Like, what we supposed to sound like? You know what I'm saying? What are we supposed to talk like? What English? What do you think we use? You know what I mean? Like, what do you think? Do you think we, like we animals and just learned how to speak last week? Like, that's the craziest shit to me. Like, so if you white, Hispanic, don't ever go to a Black person and tell them they speak well, they articulate well. Like, don't say that. You know what I mean? Figure out if that's not what you mean. If you mean like, hey man, you a great public speaker, say that.
Right.
But don't tell them that they articulate well and sound well. Like, that don't make sense. And the one thing I want people to understand is if you don't walk in someone else's shoes, you can't feel what they go through. In life, everybody have different experiences. Like, so if your experiences with law enforcement has always been great and peachy, you're going to always think it's great and peachy. But if mine has been rough and tough, then it's not. Then it's not gonna, your viewpoint of law enforcement is not gonna be well. And to kind of wrap things up, the last thing is just like, when I was 13, we got pulled over by the police, had guns drawn on us. We got guns drawn on us, me in Ontario, in my front yard, because they said we fit the description of some people that broke in a house on Elm Street. Bro, Elm Street, it was so far from where our house was, and the crazy thing is the police officer had trailed us the whole time we was walking down the street to my house. Pulled gun, Mama wasn't there. I don't know what would have happened. Me and Terry, we was in Dallas with Bang, my mama. Then guys jumped out. We was at I think it was at a restaurant outside, like airboxing. Police jumped out of a truck and pulled guns on us. And then once they realized that, when we told them, "Nah, man, we just playing," the dude cocked the 9mm in Ontario face. It was the first time I ever seen anything like my life happen. I thought he was finna shoot him right there. You know what I mean? I got pulled over another time. I just got a car. Had a Lincoln, the one you blew the motor up in. I had the
I don't know nothing about no motor.
I, sunroof, leather, everything. And I get pulled over by an officer. He tells me, "Man, it's a nice car. How'd you get it?" You know what I'm saying? Like, what you mean, how I get it? Mm-hmm. I got pulled over one time in Hillsborough with Vinny. You know what I'm saying? Vinny Hispanic, but he might look a little white too. Dude asked Vinny, like, "What are you doing with him?" Why you over here in this neighborhood? Why you with him? You know what I mean? Like it's just certain things like that I've had with police officers, and and again, like I said, I know all police officers aren't bad. You know what I'm saying? But my experience from growing up has never been peachy, has never been good. And
Yeah.
so for someone like me that has never had a situation that's been good or great, our thought process and the way we look at things are different than those that have had a great ride or a great relationship or a great, incident with officers. You know what I mean? So in closing for me, I'm just saying, man, try to understand where we as Black people come from. If you willing to stand beside us and fight the good fight, I see you. To anybody that, had, any of the, some of my white compadres that's been on Facebook making comment posts, I see you. I see you, standing with us. I may not have liked the comment. I just ain't been in the mood to be liking no comments like that. But I see you and I appreciate you. The ones that's been silent, stay silent. You know what I mean? It don't bother me at all. And understand when you see these guys protesting, it's not just Black people out there. It's white people, Hispanics, it's different kind of races. But a lot of it is these young kids, man, these young guys, these young gals that's out there really fighting and pushing, man. And we gotta be there to help them, man. We gotta be there to, whether it's financial support, whether you want to donate some money to somebody that need bail in one of these, states or counties. And in the end, man, like don't if you out there and you protesting, man, don't loot, tear up nothing, man. Use your voice. Your voice is loud enough. You know what I'm saying? Your presence is loud enough. You ain't got to tear nothing up. You know what I mean? But again, you can't tell somebody how to react. If you walk by and you slap somebody and they pull out a gun and shoot you, you can't tell them that was wrong. You can't tell them how to react. You know what I'm saying? You can't hold your foot down on somebody and then when they get up, you tell them, nah, man, you can't be violent. You can't, nah, man. Like you got to take it what come. The consequences gonna come. And so if you continue to hold people down, eventually they're gonna get tired of being held down. They're gonna get up. And when you wake that monster up, it's hard to simmer it down.
Oh yeah, because everybody has a monster inside of them. Trust me, believe that. I suppress my guy all the time, man, but for all the right reasons. And the thing is, man, like you said, I appreciate the people that's standing with us, and the people that's out there doing their thing. They just use your head, man. Use your head while you're out there. Protect yourself at all times, and you know, just man, I don't want to see nobody else lose their life over no foolishness, man. And that's the main thing. I want people to do the right thing. I want people to stand. I want people to unite, man. Because if we unite, man, it's gonna be a motherfucking problem. Like it's gonna be a problem. And like you said in these videos, I see a lot of different nationalities, a lot of different races in these videos. It's actually a pretty relieving thing to see,
Mm-hmm.
and all these Facebook warriors, and I'm saying that in the terms of the people who are talking shit about what's going on. Oh yeah, that lady, she ate that boot. At what point is it ever cool to kick a woman in their face or anybody in their face?
Yeah.
And there wasn't no resistance.
Yeah.
So you just, those type of people, man, they're gonna make their comments, man. Don't let them get you out of character. Keep pushing this shit forward. Stay blessed out there for whoever you bless up to. I ain't gonna sit here and tell you whatever, but stay blessed up to whoever you bless up to, man. And like you said, aid and support is definitely needed. Do what you can do. What you comfortable doing. Like you said, if you're not a rider, you're not a protester, don't do that shit. Motherfuckers get killed for doing shit that they not good. They don't do. Like seriously, don't do that.
Real.
Don't do that. That's not for you, man. If you got that financial support, hey man, send that little seed, man. Send that money. Think about it. You probably blow $150 on bullshit anyway, or whatever the case may be, man. Every little bit helps. Main thing, man, just stay safe out there, man. And I hope I hope some of the cops, man, that's out there, man, have some compassion. Whether you black, white, Hispanic, have some compassion, man. Our world lacks so much compassion right now. Like it's been lacking compassion for a long time, and compassion to take you a long way, and it'll make you really look at the full situation. Have some compassion for. I understand you got a job to do, and you got a hard job to do, because by by no means necessary do I think that being law enforcement is easy,
Yeah.
and you always gonna make the right call. It's split second judgment all the time. But in this situation right here, understand the difference between somebody that means you harm and somebody that is just out there protesting with their voice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You gotta really know the difference, man. Because if you don't know the difference, then you're gonna have that force, and then everybody gonna meet force with force, and that's gonna be ugly for everybody involved. That's all I got, man.
All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, I'm pretty sure anybody know how to get a hold of us. We'll have our information at the bottom of this video. Anybody want to get a hold of us, ask any questions, comments, concerns, if we can help out in any way. I think one of the things that we decided was going to try to use our voice and our platform, to help and to push things forward. But as well as if, like I said, I'm open. I'm open to help out in any way I can. Just let me know how I can help. And that's pretty much it. Appreciate y'all tuning in.